5 days. That is what we are staring down right now. A 5-day severe weather outbreak that could rank as one of the most significant events of 2026. And it has already started. Last night, a violent tornado tore through Enid, Oklahoma, triggering a tornado emergency near Vance Air Force Base. That was day 1. 4 more days remain. So let's get right into the forecast. Before the multi-day breakdown, I need to address last night because it frames everything coming. That tornado in Enid was confirmed and it was violent. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency, their most urgent tier of tornado warning. This storm tracked directly through the Gray Ridge neighborhood on the south side of Enid, a city of roughly 50,000 people about 65 miles northwest of Oklahoma City. Homes were completely leveled. Residents were trapped in debris and had to be rescued by crews working through the night. Vance Air Force Base took a direct hit and announced Friday morning it is closed until further notice due to power and water restoration. At least 10 to 15 people have been injured as of this morning, and thankfully, no fatalities have been confirmed. The tornado was on the ground for roughly 40 minutes. This was a large, slow-moving, violent tornado. What happened in Enid last night is the opening act of a prolonged and dangerous severe weather pattern. Now let's talk about what the Storm Prediction Center is showing us, because the picture is alarming. We have an active pattern locked in across the central United States with multiple distinct threats lined up back to back. Today, Friday, April 24th, the SPC has a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, across the lower Mississippi Valley, covering Memphis, Dallas, Shreveport, Jackson, and Little Rock. There's also a marginal threat back into central Texas and another near the Great Lakes. But what demands attention is Saturday, Sunday, and especially Monday. The extended outlook is flagging 30% severe weather probabilities for both Saturday and Sunday across the southern and central plains. And on Monday, a slight risk already in place from Memphis through Nashville and Birmingham is showing signals that are unusual this far in advance. Multiple data sources are converging on Monday as a potentially higher ceiling event. This is a prolonged multi-system outbreak. Let's go day by day, starting with today. A squall line has been moving south and southeast across Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma since early this morning. That line will track through Memphis and Little Rock with mostly isolated damaging winds. The tornado risk with the morning activity is low. But the setup this afternoon is a different story. Conditions are going to re-energize along and east of Dallas-Fort Worth. An outflow boundary left behind by this morning's storms is parked near northeastern Texas, and that boundary will be a focal point for new supercell development. Look for those supercells to fire between 2 and 4 p.m. local time, and when they do, they'll have access to a deeply unstable atmosphere. Baseball-sized hail is on the table from Oklahoma City back toward San Antonio, and today's tornado risk has actually been upgraded. The area near Texarkana and southwestern Arkansas now sits under a 5% tornado probability with a significant tornado parameter outline, meaning EF2 or stronger tornadoes are specifically being flagged. If you are in northeastern Texas or southwestern Arkansas, your critical window is roughly 1 p.m. through 8 p.m. Stay alert. By evening, those storms will likely cluster into a mesoscale convective system and push toward Lake Charles and Houston, shifting the threat more toward damaging winds. Saturday, a new storm system digs out of the Rockies and re-energizes the threat across the central and southern plains. The SPC has an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5, centered on the Oklahoma City and Tulsa metro areas, with Fort Smith also in that zone. A slight risk extends from central Kansas through Arkansas. Saturday does not look like a major tornado day because the window for discrete supercells will be fairly narrow before storms cluster into lines. When that clustering happens, the threat shifts toward damaging winds and very large hail, potentially apple-sized, out of any early supercells. But I would not rule out an isolated strong tornado near Tulsa and Oklahoma City, where wind shear values will be most concentrated. The significant tornado parameter is running around 3 to 4 for that corridor. Make sure your alerts are active if you're in Oklahoma Saturday afternoon, and keep in mind this setup could be upgraded in future outlooks. Sunday is the day that catches my attention the most from a tornado standpoint, and I think it has real outbreak potential. By Sunday, that surface low will be well organized over the Central Plains, opening up a much larger corridor of favorable conditions. The SPC has an enhanced risk centered on Kansas City and Wichita, with a slight risk from Omaha back through Dallas. The critical difference between Sunday and Saturday is coverage. On Sunday, the favorable wind shear zone expands dramatically. Mukapi values are expected to run between 2,000 and 3,000 joules per kilogram as a low-level jet pumps mid-60s dew points north. The area from Topeka through Salina up into Lincoln and Omaha is where I'd place the core tornado threat Sunday afternoon, with storms likely from roughly 2 p.m. through midnight. The biggest question mark on Sunday is whether the cap breaks across Texas and Oklahoma. There is potential for a lid on the atmosphere that could prevent storm initiation south of Kansas. But if that cap does break, and remember last night's Enid tornado developed from storms barely represented on models until just a few hours prior, we would rapidly see a significant tornado threat across those states. Watch Oklahoma and Texas closely Sunday afternoon. Any watches issued there should be taken very seriously. Overnight Sunday into Monday, severe weather continues across Nebraska and northern Missouri, setting the stage for what I think could be the most significant day of this entire outbreak, Monday, April 27th. This is the day I keep coming back to. A slight risk is already in place across a huge multi-state footprint, covering Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Evansville, Paducah, and Jackson, Mississippi, spanning Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, and southern Illinois. Multiple independent data sources are flagging tornado activity as an expected component of Monday's event, not merely a remote possibility. The deepest probability values are concentrated near Memphis and the broader Mississippi Valley, with elevated storm risk extending across the full slight risk corridor. The peak threat window runs from roughly 1 p.m. through 1 a.m. CDT. Monday's storm mode will differ from Sunday. Instead of scattered discrete supercells, Monday looks to produce a large organized squall line, tilting the primary threat toward widespread damaging winds. But do not underestimate the tornado component. The wind shear environment Monday afternoon will be significant, and embedded mesovortices within a powerful squall line can produce violent tornadoes. By Monday evening, the system pushes into western Michigan, central Kentucky, and all of Arkansas, with Nashville facing an ongoing wind and tornado threat through overnight. This is a full, all-hazard, severe weather situation for the Mississippi Valley. Beyond Monday, the pattern keeps going. Models are flagging additional severe weather for the Deep South from Tennessee into Texas around Tuesday and Wednesday. Late next week, another powerful storm system could bring major impacts to the Southern Plains and Dixie Alley. And the start of May looks active for the Midwest and Great Plains, with multiple further shots at severe weather. This pattern is not letting up. Here is what is driving all of this. A deep upper-level trough is anchored over the western United States, generating storm system after storm system rolling into the plains. Each one pulls Gulf moisture northward, dew points running into the mid to upper 60s Fahrenheit across the warm sector. Pair that moisture with the wind shear from the upper-level jet stream, and you have the classic recipe for significant tornado events. What makes this stretch unusual is the duration. Multiple distinct systems, each capable of producing major severe weather stacked over a 5-day window. Your bottom line: today, northeastern Texas and southwestern Arkansas watch for supercells capable of EF2 or stronger tornadoes this afternoon through early evening. Saturday, Oklahoma City and Tulsa are under an enhanced risk with a real tornado threat and very large hail. Sunday, Kansas and Nebraska look like the epicenter for a potential outbreak, with Oklahoma and Texas as cap-dependent wildcards. Monday, Memphis, Nashville, and the Mississippi Valley Corridor are facing a potentially significant squall line event with embedded tornadoes and damaging winds. Stay vigilant beyond Monday through next week. What happened in Enid last night is a reminder none of us needed about how fast these events turn catastrophic. Please take this pattern seriously. Updated forecasts are coming daily as this outbreak evolves. If you are not already subscribed, now is the time. You will want the latest information as each of these days approaches. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video.